back to Floral Fusion, where we fuse the art of floral design with the trend in the industry. So this month we are going to be talking about the design trend color blocking, and I'm going to be teaching you how to make a garland. Garlands are awesome because you can put them at the center of your table, you can put them on your fireplace mantle, you can hang them on your door. There are so many creative ways to use garlands. You don't need that much material. They're very simple to make. You can just use greens or you can add flowers. And the design trend we're going to talk about this month in October is color blocking. So what does color blocking mean? Well, we see color blocking in fashion and really these bold pops of color. We see it in interiors. Specifically, we see them where we want to enhance the volume of interior spaces, whether it be archways or walls. And we also see it in architecture. So I'm sure you'll notice color blocking a lot more after you watch this episode. It's really a beautiful way to enhance a space. So we're going to incorporate color blocking into our garland design. I'm so excited to show you. Let's get started. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, you don't really need all that much material for this tutorial. We're going to start with the greens first. So this is Italian ruscus. This is going to be your base. This is magnolia. Notice I've already kind of cut it down quite a bit. And then I just have clippers. I have a floral knife. And I have wire. Now, this wire is a little bit different because it's on a spool. So you can use twine. You don't necessarily have to use this type of wire specifically, but anything that you're able to kind of unwind like this is ideal. And you'll see why when we start the tutorial. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to create our base. So I have a branch here, have another one here that I'm going to place on top of it. And then I'm going to do this a little bit where I twist the branches together. So you can see that it can stay in place. Sometimes it's stubborn, it doesn't stay in place, just to kind of get me started. Okay? Then I'm going to take my magnolia foliage here and I'm going to place it towards the top of the garland, just like so. And then I'm going to use my wire. And notice I'm not going to cut my wire. I'm just going to start by putting the wire at the base of the branch here and then just kind of wrapping it around. So I will need to pick this up and wrap it as I go. Now I might need to adjust some of the leaves as I go down, but I'm just creating my base and I'm making sure that all the stems are staying together. I can pull some of the leaves out as I go so that the wire isn't holding them down, because that happens sometimes too. And then I'm just going to keep building onto this. So notice that I already have the top portion of my garland done at this point. So I'm going to keep going with the wire. Again, just making sure that all the leaves, are still able to be full. And so I don't really want the wire to hold down the leaves because the leaves are really supposed to be kind of flaring outward. If I put this wire around the leaves like this, see how it's holding the leaves down? I don't want to do that. Okay. So I'm going to keep building. Notice I already have this much of my garland complete. So it's really simple and straightforward. It does not take a lot of effort or material to put this together. So I'm going to bring my wire down a little bit, making sure that the leaves are staying out. And then I'm just going to add more of this magnolia to fill it in. Spiraling the wire around as I go, making sure that none of the leaves are getting trapped. So at this point, I have most of my garland done, but I want to add more magnolia towards the edge, and I want to add more ruscus towards the edge because I want this to drape in the center of the table. So this is how much ruscus I have left. What I'm going to do is just cut it, and I'm going to add it on to this garland here. Okay, and I'm going to take my wire and I'm just going to continue until it feels right, until I feel like it's long enough for the table, it's full enough, and I've added enough to it. Okay? So when I feel comfortable and feel like it's full enough and we're ready to add flowers, it should look something like this, okay? Really beautiful, has a nice texture to it. And the magnolia leaves, what I really like about it, the texture and the color, is they're green on one side and brown on the other. So they have a nice fall feeling to them. So let's look at what flowers we're going to be using today and how we're going to incorporate the idea of color blocking. So I have sunflowers. These are mini sunflowers, which are perfect for the garland. They're not going to overwhelm them. I have spider mums. And then I have regular mums that are really pretty orange color and filler. So I have some Alstroemeria solidago, solidago filler to add at the end, okay? All right, let's get started. All right, so I'm going to start with my sunflowers. They're the brightest colored flower, and I'm going to group them in the center of the garland. And that's how we're going to do our color blocking. We're going to start with the brightest color and kind of group it towards the center of the garland. So I'm just going to kind of stick it in and weave it in through. So here's your stem, and you're just kind of weaving it in and grouping them together. And then I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to do the same thing I did before and weaving it around the stems to hold them in place. Now remember, we don't want to get the leaves stuck in the wire, so in order to alleviate that from happening, we might need to reposition as needed. Okay, so we have our first 3 sunflowers there. I'm just going to keep adding more, sliding the stems through wherever they can fit through. And cut another stem here. You can leave the stems long too if you'd like, or you can cut the stems a little bit shorter. Either way, it's one long piece. And then, again, I have not cut my wire. It's still on the spool, and I can simply kind of twist it around and keep the stems in place. Sunflowers in pretty good here. Now I'm going to start adding my mums. Same concept, right? We're still going to take this wire and we're going to cut our stems pretty short, take off the foliage. This is an okay length. And I'm just going to start adding the spider mums towards this side of the garland here, okay? Now, time to add the orange mums. So, I've added my colors on either side of the garland. Now, all I'm going to do is stick the filler into the foliage. I'm not going to use any wire because there's already a base of wire, and that's really going to pull all the colors together. And I'm going to use the solid aster that I mentioned before. It has a little bit of a brown tinge to it with some yellow. So all we're really going to do is just add it for some filler into the garland to fill it out a little bit, and then we'll be done. Okay, so when we're all done, it should look something like this. Notice the filler really helps tie everything in together, and you can simply place this at the center of your table, maybe add a few little candles, and it's just a really nice centerpiece for the holidays. Floral Fusion fun fact number 9. Did you know that Halloween started as an ancient Celtic festival almost 2,000 years ago? So this festival was really to celebrate the new year, their version of the new year, on November 1st. But it also signified the beginning of winter, when it was believed that ghosts returned to Earth. Kinda spooky, just in time for Halloween. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you in November. Bye.